Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Madam Clerk, may I have the roll call, please?
David Walker.
Here.
Soren Peterson.
Here.
Chuck Schultz.
Here.
Al Poole.
Here.
Jennifer Eden. Here. Mike Cunningham.
Here.
And Marcy Husted here.
We're going to have to make some changes to the agenda. We are going to strike item number 1 from the agenda. That's going to be rescheduled for another date. We're going to add item number 17, request to release budgeted funds to the Heartland Senior Center. So we'll add that. I don't have anything else. Does anybody have anything that needs to be added? Make a motion?
So moved. Support.
Been motion to support it to approve the agenda as amended. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Next is approval of the consent agenda, the regular board meeting minutes from March 6, 2018, treasurer's report, and clerk's warrants and bills.
So moved. Second.
It's been motioned and supported to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, that motion carries. Next, communications. We have 4 items. First one is the Planning Commission meeting synopsis from March 13th, 2018. Item number 2, Planning Commission regular meeting approved minutes from January 9th, 2018. Item number 3, Livingston County Sheriff's Report, February 2018. And item number 4 is the Fire Run Report from February 2018.
So moved.
Support. It's been motioned and supported to receive and place communications 1 through 4 on file. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. This is our first call to the public. Anybody have any comments or anything that they'd like to say? All right, being done, we'll move to unfinished business. We have no unfinished business. We'll move to new business. We struck item number 1, so we'll move to item number 2. It's request to adjust and approve the 2017-2018 budget. So while you're bringing that up, these are just amendments from the current year. Make sure that we have enough money in the funds or something that needs to be moved around. Still within budget.
Someday I'll get there.
There you go, too.
Next. New business.
That's kind of a few pages.
Yeah, it's got the police report and everything else attached to it, so.
Almost.
That's a good reminder if anybody has their cell phones, please put them on silent or vibrate.
I didn't turn my email on. I have my board agenda open via. Here we go. No.
Oh, here we go. Now I need to make it a
Okay.
little smaller. Oops. All right, so getting close to the end of the fiscal year, so we had a few accounts that we were going to go over budget for, so these are just the accounts that we didn't quite budget enough money for when we did our original budgeting last year, so we are going to be making these budget amendments. Most of them are special assessments, and they're new special assessments, so the problem is that we don't have we don't collect the revenue until we collect it before we actually expend it. So there's no budget right now for the services that are starting in April of next year.
And the planning commission is that we added on the workshops due to their workload this last year, so
Okay, so moved. Support.
It's been motioned and supported to adjust and approve the 2017-2018 budget amendments. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, that motion carries. Moving on to item number 3, this is a request to increase our per diem rates. You know, we've done a pretty comprehensive rate study and all of our employees and what have not, and this is one of the things that we think that we needed to make some amendments to. These are the per diem rates that are highlighted here that we're requesting to change. Board of review for the meetings, we'd like to raise that $10. Half meeting up $10. The ZBA chair, $15. ZBA rep, $5 a meeting. The election worker, the election chair is here from the time the election opens till it closes, and that's usually 5, 6 o'clock in the morning till it could go to midnight, sometimes into the next day. So we figured that they were being a little undercompensated for the services that they're providing. And then also to our planning chair and secretary, Mark Meisel and Dave Wardine, for the work that they do. I mean, just the follow-up work that they do is tremendous, and we're glad that we have 2 engineers that sit there. They're able to do a lot of work that we'd probably have to outsource. So that 125, and then any special meetings for the planning and chair. All the other ones, you know, the board stuff, we didn't feel that we needed to make any changes, but we need to make sure that the people that are doing this work for us are compensated fairly. So that's the request.
So moved.
Okay. It's been motioned and supported to increase the per diem rates as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Next is a quote to paint the old township hall. You know, we've been doing a lot of stuff to that old township hall. The first thing was cleaning the dump that existed from within inside, getting everything cleaned up, thrown away into storage, and get it to where we could, you know, start opening up and using it. It is falling into some rough shape. The paint and the exterior needs work. You know, we're gonna have to look at doing some concrete, maybe some ramp work here in the near future. It is a historical site. They paid to move it from its old location over here, so I think we have a responsibility to take care of this thing. We contacted Dan's Custom Painting. I have worked with Dan. I think Marcy has worked with Dan. I think Trustee Schultz knows him. He gave us an estimate. He's going to power wash it, scrape it, prime it, paint it, and the estimate was under $4,000. We can accept this. We can reject it, put it out to bid. You know, what do you guys think? I have faith that he's going to do a fine job for us. I don't want to, you know, not.
Yeah, we want it done right when they do it.
Yeah, he's done work for me and done a good job. Came in when they were supposed to and did a good job at a fair price.
I mean, for the amount of work that needs to be done on the outside of that, you can look at that paint, it's all bubbled and.
I mean, so given the scope of work, and so I guess my point is if we put it out to bid, wow, we gotta save $125? I don't know. I mean, my point is, given the scope of work.
Well,
Spend more on advertising, putting it out to bid than we would save.
well, one of the other problems is now it's public knowledge. So you put it out to bid, now all the bidders know what the bid is.
Yeah, right.
Well, yeah, but it already looks pretty thin.
Kinda does, yeah. But it's a good price, I would assume. It looks like a good price to do what they're gonna do.
You're the
But-
builder.
For wood siding and what they have to do, yeah, that's a
For
good
the
price.
scope of work, yeah.
Yeah, and then I asked him about the paint chips. He goes, you know, some of them are going to get through. And, you know, when you mulch out there, clean up, they'll mow, they'll go away. But, you know, I said, I've seen paint jobs where they come in and they scrape and they don't, you know, they clean up. And he says, no, he rest assured us that it would be presentable when he was done. So that's pretty important as well.
I move we accept the bid as provided by DB Custom Painting.
It's been motioned and supported to approve the bid from DB Custom Painting. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. My watch is making too much noise. Next is item number 5, resolution to waive the penalty associated with not filing property transfer affidavits.
I did. Did you want me to cover it?
Yeah, would you?
So, in the state of Michigan, we're to charge, if you don't, someone doesn't file their property transfer affidavit within, I believe it is
75 days. isn't it?
45.
45, I
days.
think it is, yeah, 45 days. We have the right to charge them a fee. I talked to assessor, and he said he doesn't see it fit, and because all the fees go to the state and the county, not us. Like, our part of it would be like $2. So all the amount of paperwork and wouldn't be worth it to the township. And it burdens the new homeowner, so what,
Kind of like a welcome to the neighborhood.
yeah,
greeting card
here's
for getting to
your
file
bill,
property transfer.
here's your fee.
From a practical standpoint, how frequently does that occur?
I don't think too frequently, but we just have to have this in place if we're not charging it.
I mean, anecdotally, how many times does that happen?
I can't say for sure. I would say maybe a handful a year.
Yeah, but that's not a number. That's not a number.
Well, okay, 5. Let's say 5 to 10,
Okay.
if it happens at all.
Is it mostly like for land contract people, or?
No, I think just homeowners.
Okay.
So, I mean, we're effectively talking about $10 to $20 in revenue?
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
And a lot of times we'll find these things, we follow home sales and stuff automatically, so
Right.
we'll find out that a home is sold.
Okay.
We'll call and say, yeah, you gotta file this, PTA.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to do it. And-
Unless you guys are looking for more work in the department.
Right.
I think they just end up getting filed away with their mortgage documents, and then they
Right,
forget about
to-
it.
Forget to do it.
Okay. So resolved.
Support. It's been resolved and supported to waive the penalty associated with not filing property transfer affidavits timely. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Al Poole,
Yes.
Jennifer Eden,
Yes.
Mike Cunningham,
Yes.
David Walker,
Yes.
Yes.
Chuck Schultz,
Yes.
Soren Peterson,
And I'm sitting right here.
and Marcy
Okay.
Husted, yes.
Motion carries. Item number 6 is the general appropriations measure resolution. It's something that we have to do every year. Basically telling us that we're going to follow our budget and our process. It's required by the state that we do this.
So resolved.
Support.
It's been resolved and supported to approve our general appropriations measure resolution. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Soren Peterson,
Yes.
Chuck Schultz,
Yes.
David Walker,
Yes.
Mike Cunningham,
Yes.
Jennifer Eden,
Yes.
Al Poole,
Yes.
and Marcy Husted, yes.
That resolution has been approved. Next is item number 7, the Headley Operating Tax Millage Rate Resolution. This is a resolution that we have to do every year to set our millage rate under Headley. We do it every year, so I'll entertain the motion for that.
So resolved.
Second.
It's been resolved and supported to adopt our Headley Operating Tax Millage Rate Resolution. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Jennifer Eden,
Yes.
Al Poole,
Yes.
Soren Peterson,
Yes.
Chuck Schultz,
Yes.
David Walker,
Yes.
Mike Cunningham,
Yes.
and Marcy Husted, yes.
Okay. Moving on to that motion, that resolution carries. Next is item number 8. This is a resolution to establish the 2018-2019 meeting dates. Something we have to do every year to establish our meeting dates. We had to take into account, we've got a couple election dates this year, so we had to move a few things around. And we added our planning commission, joint planning commission meetings as well. So I'll take a resolution, or a motion for that.
Support.
It's been resolved and supported to establish the 2018-2019 meeting dates. Any further discussion? Madam?
Just that you do know that November 14th is the eve of a Michigan holiday.
Yes, it is.
So, I mean, don't be looking for me, but
It is
okay. I get
highlighted
it,
for that, though.
Yeah, I get us highlighted, but I'm just saying, so. That's okay, move forward. I get it. No, I'm just
As you know, we schedule meeting dates in order to be available to handle any township business that needs
That's
to be.
fine.
In the event that there is no township business, there is a cancellation of that meeting.
Right. Let me just tell you publicly, I won't be here. Go ahead.
Let it be noted. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Al Poole.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Jennifer Eden,
Yes.
Mike Cunningham,
Yes.
Soren Peterson,
Yes.
David Walker,
Yes.
Chuck Schultz.
Yes.
And I say yes.
That resolution carries. Boy, we got a lot of resolutions tonight. Happens every year, though. Item number 9, resolution to establish the 2018-2019 supervisor salary.
So resolved.
Support.
It's been resolved and supported to establish the 2018-2019 supervisor's salary. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Soren Peterson,
Yes.
Chuck Schultz,
Yes.
David Walker,
Yes.
Mike Cunningham,
Yes.
Jennifer Eden,
Yes.
Al Poole,
Yes.
and I say no.
Makes it interesting. Item number 10, resolution to establish the 2018-2019 clerk's salary.
So resolved.
Support.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Al Poole,
Yes.
Jennifer Eden,
Yes.
Mike Cunningham.
Should I say no, so you're not the only one?
You can.
I'll say yes.
Soren Peterson,
Yes.
Chuck Schultz,
Yes.
David Walker,
Yes.
and I say no.
That resolution carries. Next is item number 11, resolution to establish the 2018-2019 treasurer's salary.
So resolved.
Support.
Been resolved in support to establish the salary for the 2018-2019 treasurer. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Chuck Schultz,
Yes.
Soren Peterson,
Yes.
Mike Cunningham,
Yes.
Jennifer Eden,
Yes.
Al Poole,
Yes.
David Walker,
Yes.
and I say no.
And item number 12 is resolution to establish the 2018-2019 trustee's salary.
Support.
Say resolve?
Yes, resolved, I'm sorry.
Support. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Soren Peterson,
Yes.
Chuck Schultz,
Yes.
David Walker,
No.
Al Poole,
No.
Jennifer Eden,
Yes.
Mike Cunningham,
Yes.
and I say no.
The motion carries 4-3. Okay.
Okay, let's see.
Item number 13 is the Val Royale Site Plan Amendment Approval. Al, you want to start on that?
Yeah, we had a number of requirements we were looking for, and it sounds like that's all been put together. I wasn't there for last week's meeting, but I read up on it. It sounds like we have a requirement to, have you provide, or have her provide the, activities there, once a month for 3 months or something like that. And if it looks like everything's going as it's supposed to, then it would turn to once a year. Everything else is in place from what I see, so I would make a motion.
I'd like to talk about it a little bit
Okay.
before we make any motions, because
All right.
there's a couple of things that really concern me. As you know, this was we're doing this backwards. Applicant came in, submitted a site plan originally for one thing, and then amended the site plan to do something else, and built something that they didn't originally get approved for. So we issued a stop work order for this, and now the site is already built, and we're going backwards for the approval process. It's cost the township time, money, resources, tax dollars, sewer revenue, which we're going to address tonight, and I really don't appreciate that we're doing it this way. But with that being said, the plan is not to put you out of business, the plan is to move forward and get you permitted. There's one thing in here too, I think that we should discuss before we make any approvals, is that we have a capacity that was originally set at 99, we've had events over 150. That requires fire suppression. There is a note in here from the fire chief that he approves your plan for fire suppression. My concern is holding events before this is put in. There was an event that happened 10 years ago in Rhode Island. It was a nightclub fire. They didn't have the proper measures in place and several people died. One of them was a friend of mine. And I will tell you, the pain and suffering that friends and family had went through because of a tragic event, because somebody didn't do what they were supposed to do. I wouldn't want that to happen in our township. I wouldn't want it to happen to you. I wouldn't want it to happen to any patrons in our township. And I would really like to see fire suppression installed before we start having events over 99. We're going to allow her to go to 163 or 167.
63, I think.
63,
Yeah.
150 with 13 of workers.
When do you have your first event scheduled?
May 6th.
You get your fire suppression in?
They're ready to do it.
Okay.
They want to start this week, but I don't know.
Oh,
They're ready.
Yeah.
It's not ready.
I would urge that this board make that a condition, and, you know, unless anybody has any other objections, I would like to, you know, get her moving in the right direction so she can get approved. I've heard a lot of good things about your wedding barn. I think it can be a wonderful business for you. It can be an asset to our township. But if you want to do anything going forward, please come see us, okay?
I understand. yeah.
I mean, we've had to hire attorneys that the residents are paying for, and other things, and, you know, I
I want to express that that is not at all how I intended for it to go. I had an architect contracted, and he utterly, I had all the wood from an additional building.
Right. Well,
I had to clean up the site because I had weddings starting,
right.
and I couldn't leave all that wood. Building department, it just takes too long to get there.
Well, we're here now, so going forward, let's, you know, come in and talk to us. I don't think we're gonna, you know, do anything that's going to be negative towards you. We want to help you, and we want to see these things grow, but, you know, I don't like spending money when I shouldn't have to be spending money for things like this. And I want to make sure that our residents and people can come to our township and enjoy it, be safe and do so, and have a positive experience. Okay. So I would say, Al, if you could state those terms that need to be met and then add the,
All right. Do we want to
Only if he
do
agrees with
site plan and special land use together here, or? How do we want to do this?
well, that would be part of the site plan, right? So I think you would have to go,
Site plan is first.
Yes, I think he has it separate.
all right, so go ahead and go for the site plan approval.
All right.
Would we amend the fire on the site plan, or would that be part of the?
Wouldn't be part of the use permit?
Yeah, it'd be on the number 14.
Before the permit?
Be on the next
Yeah,
one.
probably, part of the use permit.
You do.
Would
I
fire
don't know, I
suppression be
guess it
part
could be
of
either one.
the use?
Yeah, it'd be
Okay.
on the use permit.
All right, so we can go ahead and take your motion on this.
All right. All right, well, I make a motion that we approve the Val Royale site plan.
I'll support it.
All right.
It's been motioned and supported to approve the Val Royale site plan amendment approval. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, that motion carries. Next is item number 14, Val Royale Barn and Wedding Venue Special Land Use Permit Approval.
All right. And I'd make a motion that we approve the special land use permit with the condition that the fire suppression is installed before any events over 99.
Fair enough.
Support.
Been motioned and supported to approve the Val Royale Wedding Barn Venue Special Land Use Permit with the conditions outlined, which were the fire suppression with events over 99. What was the other one for me? Oh, the journal.
Right, oh yeah.
She's got
Reporting
this.
monthly for 3 months and then annually if we don't see an issue with that.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, that motion carries.
And just for the record, the seconder agrees
We'll have your
with the
land use
amendments.
permit in the morning.
All right.
Okay?
I'm supposed to agree to that.
Yep.
No, we have
Wait,
your
one
next
more.
item.
Oh, wait, we got one more thing, though.
So close.
Yeah.
We do have a sewer billing issue. You know, we approved you REU rates. We're not changing your REUs until your final. But the sewer O&M rates, you were having events with 150 people, which is approximately, I wrote this down somewhere, 51% increase in the usage.
1 or 66? I thought you said. Maybe not.
There it is. So it's a 51% increase in usage, which takes 1.5 REU O&M sewer rate to 2.25, 2.26. So, I mean, not to split a quarter of an REU, but the O&M billing rate for sewer use should be 2 REUs instead of 1.5 REUs.
I thought we agreed on 2.5.
Yeah, was it 2.5?
Yes. Yep. That's what I
Was
have
my
in
math
mind.
wrong?
Yes.
Okay. Then my math is wrong.
Yes.
So anyway, it should be 2.5, 2.5 REUs instead of 1.5 REUs. So right now, we're not saying that you have to go buy an REU until you get approved. But there's O&M rates, so you put more flow and use on the system, so we're just gonna bill you that extra. How much does that work out?
So it'll be billed quarterly, just like I am now, but.
Right.
Yeah, it's roughly, I think, around 250 more than what you're paying for quarterly bill.
And then we'll get this all adjusted when we get a final approval from the county. So once you get your approval from the county, make sure that you get that back to us, and we'll have to address that at a board issue or another board meeting.
Okay.
So,
So you need a motion to that effect?
yeah, we do.
So moved. At 2.5.
Support.
It's been motioned and supported to adjust the Val Royale Wedding Barn sewer rate to 2.5 REUs for billing for O&M. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, that motion carries. Okay, now you're all set.
Thank you.
All right, next is item number 16, a quote from Fenton Lock and Safe for a lock system. You know, since I've been here, we've had this juggling act with keys, employees, people coming and going. Even though the keys do say do not duplicate on them, you can still duplicate them. So what we decided, rather than do this, rekeying all the time, we could do an electric fab. We can program off a phone, a computer. So if someone needs to get into the office, we give them a fab, it's programmed. If for some reason they leave, they're terminated, their term ends, deprogrammed, we don't have to worry about the key being out there. We were looking at some systems with ADP, and they turned out to be pretty elaborate, pretty expensive, and they needed lock work, and the guy from the Fenton Lock came in and looked at it and goes, we could save you a lot of money if you just did it this way. So everybody would have a point of access at the front door. The only keys that would get rekeyed would be the ones that Marcy, Jennifer, and myself would have for the side doors.
And then the
But-
front,
Yeah,
yeah, so it'll be the
Front two doors.
key fob would be to get into the office area,
Right.
that wooden door
Oh,
there.
outs-
The outside
okay.
doors will be rekeyed, but with keys that only Fenton Lock and Safe can duplicate.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good
So,
idea.
yeah. And then the other doors, like he
Right.
said, we would have
so
access.
the whole idea is, make sure that, with sensitivity and theft of items, if anybody ever broke in, or had keys out there, that this would be a lot more secure.
Has this been a problem?
No, but we're, being a little proactive about it. And the thing is that, rather than rekey locks all the time, this will save us a lot of
Okay,
rekeying going forward.
Well, it's been a long time since we rekeyed, so we got a quote to
Once since
have
I've
the
been here.
locks
Okay, so
rekeyed.
you've got a lot of keys floating around out there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
And then we started talking that it might be cheaper to do this and not have to rekey every, so many years or.
Okay. So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned and supported to approve the Fenton Lock and Safe quote. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Next is item number 17, request to release budgeted funds for the Heartland Senior Center. As you know, the Heartland Senior Center receives a donation from us every year. This year's request amount is $4,400. It's something that we budgeted for. It's something that we do every year. It allows the residents of Tyrone Township that are age 50 or older to use the services at the senior center. Some of the services that they provide: pickleball, exercise programs to include yoga, weightlifting. They provide meals for wheels. They also do tax service, so they help the seniors with their taxes. Just to mention some of the key things, they do other things there, but I think for the amount of money that it costs us to participate in this, it is one heck of a deal.
Do we have any idea how many Tyrone Township residents take
Part in that.
part of that, and take advantage of that?
The last time I checked, it was over 300.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty good.
So that's,
That's at no cost to them, right? To the
yeah, they get to use it for free, as long as we pay this thing and they prove that they're a resident and that they're age 50 or older. Unless there's any objections to this. it's
This is
something we
already
do-
budgeted, right?
It's already
Right.
budgeted, it's something we
Yep.
do every year.
So moved.
Support.
Been motioned and supported to release the funds requested for the Heartland Senior Center. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, miscellaneous business, we have none. Public remarks, anybody have anything to say? Yes, Perry.
My name's Perry Green. I'm on the salary committee and zoning board of appeals as an alternate. And I just wanted to express, I came up and chatted with Mike about it. And he kind of filled me in. Unfortunately, I didn't know about the meeting ahead of time when the decision was made to change the burning rules. So now in certain areas, if you have less than 3 acres, you cannot burn leaves. And I thought I'd see at least one of my neighbors up here. I have more than enough acres to burn leaves. I live on Dean Road near Lake Shannon, and the 5 houses across the street all have less than 3 acres, and they all burn leaves. And one of them, I know calls and complains about the other ones when they burn leaves. I assume that's not the only complainer in the township. But I have pictures I took as a joke to me and another neighbor of like giant smoke screen in front of their house because of all the leaves they are burning. And myself and all the other neighbors have all been in a situation like the day you burn leaves, there's a big smoke screen and then it goes away and whatever. Anyways, I just wanted to voice my discontent for that. Mike did fill me in that a lot of people complain and so you kind of had to do something about it. So I can see that side and appreciate it. My question is, has the penalty changed, and what is the penalty? Are burning things you're not supposed to, or burning things when you're not supposed to?
Well, if the fire department is called, you'll pay the cost of the fire run, and right now it's $1,405.
And that's what it was before as well, right?
Right.
Consent.
Now, if it is, the fire department does get called, then it's a civil infraction, and it can start out at $50 and go up from there.
Okay. And how does that process work? Like, how is it enforced as far as, like before, did anyone ever get, because before, I think my understanding, I've only been in the township for 3 or 4 years, and I never knew until 2 years ago. I've been told that you could only burn leaves certain times of the year before.
Yeah.
And that was hard for me to wrap my head around, because I'm from hillbilly land out in the country, towards the thumb, where, you know, we just didn't have rules like that, and people burned what they wanted to burn when they wanted to burn it, and houses are far enough away, it didn't bother no one, so no one cared. So, so obviously you want to get along well with your neighbors. So
Right.
how does that work as far as enforcement?
Well, exactly what we said, and that's what we took into consideration, you know, we allowed some of these larger parcels to still burn.
And I appreciate
Yeah.
that, of course, 'cause
So-
I get to burn.
So how's it enforced? If I get a letter from, let's say, your neighbor complaining about your other neighbor, we'll probably send them a letter or make contact with them in some form to say, hey, look, don't do that. If we have to come out again, we'll issue a citation. You know, we try to have a adult conversation about it, or, you know, a formal letter saying, hey, you know, if you're doing it, please stop.
Right.
If somebody calls the fire department, then we have no choice but to bill them for that run.
Right. And now if someone calls the fire department and the fire department's not needed, how does that work out?
Still build.
We're still billed by the fire department. We'll pay it.
Don't you think the person like, what if there's no leaves burning and it's just sticks? Like how, you know what I mean? Like by the time the fire department gets there, and I know I'm splitting hairs, and I don't want to waste
So,
your time. I know
what you're
it's
saying is the person that makes the false call should be charged for the run?
Absolutely.
I think that most of the people, we don't have any provisions in our ordinance for that. We don't want to discourage people to call when they feel that there's a true, actual emergency.
Right.
I mean, I think it comes to putting the burden of proof on them is, did they do this out of spite, or did they do it out of concern?
Right.
I don't know how you establish that,
Yeah.
unless there's been, predetermined threats or whatever. But like I said, our ordinance doesn't have a provision that allows for that.
Well, I appreciate all your hard work.
Sure.
I'm still not happy about it. It doesn't, and now my neighbors are coming and saying, can they burn on my place?
So yeah, if you rake up mine with you.
Hey,
So it's like, I'm like, so it just, and my wife especially doesn't like it. It's like she was sick tonight. She got sick after work, so I was just not gonna come up here. I came up here in case anyone complained about the salary thing. Because someone had sent an email saying, and I had Mike and Cam here, so I'm not even needed. They know what they're doing, but she's like, no, you gotta go tell them about the leaf thing, I don't want the neighbors over here. And so, and I do love our neighbors, they're nice people.
They can still burn, trees and parts that fall down and stuff like that.
Right.
It's just, it's in the spring when you have leftover residual leaves in the fall.
Right.
If they're,
And then- I'm sorry, one other quick question.
Sure.
And then I'll be quiet about it. What's the suggestion? I think you mentioned possibly compost pile or whatever. Some of these people have like tight, orderly lawns, and they don't have a spot they want to move the compost
Sure.
or whatever. So is there a suggestion as to what what they can do, so, you know, it's something I can go and say, you know what, I really can't let you all burn over here, but maybe you could.
Place on Owen Road that takes leaves.
There's a place on Owen Road that
On
takes
Owen
them.
Road that
Yeah.
takes leaves.
Do they charge, or they just take them for free?
No, behind,
Shoemakers.
Shoemaker, okay, yeah.
Michigan
I
Lands.
couldn't think of the
Let
name.
me be clear, I would be completely against the township funding any resolution to picking up leaves. My 2 cents as a citizen. But I'm just curious. if they had-
I share that thought too.
Yeah,
Well,
pretty much
there's,
an SAV for them.
you can mulch them. You put a mulching blade on your lawnmower or your lawn tractor or your zero turn or whatever. And what it does is it puts them in fine particles, and then usually the snow gets on top of them, and it's not an issue in the springtime. It actually helps feed your grass, so it's actually a nice way to fertilize and be, green, so to speak. The other thing that you can do is compost, and there are services that'll come pick them up that you can hire. So if you don't want to rake them, and, they'll come suck them all up and take them away.
Okay.
So those are the 3 options that I'm aware of, and does anybody else have any other,
I get too
Let the
many.
wind take care of it.
let the woods take care of it?
I have enough land, I just blow mine in the woods, so I
Yeah,
don't.
I know, me too.
They don't have woods, they have a,
No, I know, I'm just saying
Right.
that
I-
I'm not the right person to ask.
I'm tempted to tell them to stop and put them in one pile and a cleared spot in my woods, and then I'll have a pile of dirt in a couple of years.
Yeah, eventually.
So, okay.
Excuse me.
All right. Anybody else?
Excuse me.
All right, if there's no other public remarks, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Good motion and support to adjourn the meeting. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you. Cracked that pretty good there.
Got
Got any walnuts?
Getting pretty good with that thing.
Yeah, that's why they took it away from
Give me
me.
a little one.
I'm dangerous. Protect me.